welcome from my little space here in Vienna. My name is Luise. I'm a literature student and writer, and last week I had my first week back at university, and it's always a lot of mixed feelings, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my first university week and what I've been up to. Also sharing a little bit about my writing process. I haven't talked about this recently because there wasn't much to talk about. I did not have a lot of time or motivation to sit down, and autumn is always the time where I feel very inspired and motivated to sit down and tackle my projects. So this kind of energy is always coming with the colder months. I am very much an autumn and especially winter person. Winter is my absolute favorite season. I could go on about this. These are just some insights in what my semester start looked like. So the semester here in Vienna always starts with October, and then it goes on till the end of January. February is off. I mean, kind of. We have a lot of coursework to do in February, so we write our essays and papers. During this time, there are also some exams. Also, the time in summer, July, August, and September is off. Like, we don't have any courses, so it's the course-free time, but we do have deadlines and sometimes exams. This semester feels very different to me because it might be my last regular semester where I actually attend courses. I am now coming closer to the end of my studying time. I have talked about this quite a lot, just for anyone who doesn't know. I studied comparative literature and Scandinavian studies as a bachelor. Scandinavian studies isn't yet finished. There is one big exam that I still have to do, which is a little bit annoying because it's a very, very difficult exam for me, but I still have to do it. My master is called Austrian Studies. It's actually offered by the German department, but it is focusing on Austrian literature, culture, also linguistics, like it dives into dialects, and also history, which is a little bit of a niche perspective and very specific. I did want to do my master in comparative literature, but then I browsed through the curriculum and it just wasn't that interesting. And I've heard from a lot of people that the master in comparative literature in Vienna is just not that interesting or exciting. I don't know, maybe there is anyone who does study the master in comparative literature and can share a little bit about it, but I didn't really feel like, that's what I want to do for the next couple of semesters and really pour my energy into it. I do miss the comparative literature department. I really do. I feel like the German department has a very different vibe. It's a little bit more serious, but I definitely do like my master in Austrian studies. For my master, I only have 2 courses left. There is one seminar that I'm doing, and it is on essayistic, and another seminar that is basically supposed to go parallel to you writing your master thesis. So it's just like a support course where you can talk to other people, other students and the professor, and to, get into the habit of working on your thesis. These are the 2 courses that I'm taking this semester, and also trying to study for this big exam for my Scandinavian Studies Bachelor. I recently saw Morgan Long's video for Cozy Things, and it was so sweet for anyone who likes cozy things. I'm currently reading a text for my course on essayistic, and it is by Adorno, and he's kind of, talking about the genre essay, explaining it a bit. I had no idea what he was talking about for the first few pages. Now it's getting a little bit clearer, but it is really difficult to understand for me, and I really often read texts that are so confusing for me, and it's always very intimidating. And then I always come to this point where I tell myself, oh, you're just not clever enough to read this, or you're not, I don't know, you didn't pay close attention in your studies, you should have read more, you should have, I don't know, read more philosophical texts to understand this special language, to understand all the special vocabulary. And I really have to stop pushing myself so hard and being so, I don't know, almost mean to myself that I'm not good enough, that I'm not a good enough student or something, because there will always be texts that I'm just not able to understand. And this is why I study, to, learn and go to the class and say, hey, this text was difficult for me. Can we please discuss it again or together, so I might have a chance to understand it as well. And it often feels a little weird because other people in my courses have a really easy time understanding them, or at least that's how it seems. And they have a lot of good arguments, and they comprehend the texts very, very well and quick, but I just can't. And I've never really been able to do that. I'm also an extremely slow reader. It takes me a lot of time, but I always try not to, minimize the effort I put into my work. And also I'm just as clever and as capable of doing this, it just in a different form, but just as a reminder, if you have those situations yourself, never tell yourself that you are too dumb or that you can't do it. It's just normal not to understand everything. And yeah, maybe you read this text several times and you still don't get it. Maybe it happens quite sometimes. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I understand what Adorno wants to tell me or not. So I just have to remind myself of that. And yeah, I'm gonna keep reading, because I'm also let's be proud that I'm just sitting down, trying to understand and trying to read it, taking the time. I think this is what I should focus on. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. And then I'm gonna have some food and go to work.
And anything could really happen. But I find that these are the moments when sort of invention happens, Time and focus on things. It means that I'm often forgetful and disorganized.
I've had my first university week this semester, but it is a little bit overshadowed by the fact that my professor, who is supposed to supervise my master thesis, has kind of ghosted me. It's a little bit my own fault because I have texted her a little bit too late. And before summer, she said she would supervise my thesis and I should just come back to her when I know for sure what my topic is going to be. Then I made up my mind a few weeks ago and texted her that now I know what I want to do. But it was a little bit late, and now I'm waiting for her response. And actually, I need her to sign my topic and that she's going to supervise my thesis and hand this in at my department. And I should have done this before I start this master course. It is going to be on female writers during Wiener Moderne, so the turn of the century, 1900s, in the fin du siècle in Vienna. And I really like this topic, but I'm a bit worried that it's not the topic that I actually want to write so many pages about. But yeah, I picked this topic and I'm just gonna stick with it because all my other ideas are also not perfect. The thing is, I need some context to Austria, so I can't just write about, I don't know, Jane Austen or whatever. It needs a specific connection to Austria. And, it's always that way. When you all of a sudden need this specific connection, you have lots of other ideas that have nothing to do with it. And it was the same here. I was thinking of writing about something like more fantasy literature or gothic novels, something like that. But the only thing that comes to mind is Kafka, and I really don't want to write about Kafka. Not because it's not interesting, but there is so much work around Kafka out there, and I don't really feel like adding to it. I was trying to find other Austrian authors where I could dive into the fantasy genre a little bit more, but I wasn't very successful finding something that was, providing enough material so I could write my thesis about it. So I ended up with either Stefan Zweig or the female authors in the Wiener Moderne. And then I just thought, let's write about the female authors, because Stefan Zweig is also someone who has, it's also done before, basically. The start of the semester always has this energy of I'm excited. I have new motivation for new courses that start freshly, and I don't really know what's expecting me. Also, like I said, this feeling of autumn is giving me new perspectives and new inspiration. I always feel like I'm waking up from this summer depression. I don't really know if that makes sense to anyone, because winter depression is a thing, but for me, the heat just, I don't know, it feels like it boils my brain. It just makes me so empty. I'm just surviving from day to day during the heat. It is really challenging for me. So autumn gives me this new energy that I need for the semester. But besides this whole excitement, there is also always a little bit of fear and an overwhelming feeling. And then when the courses start, you suddenly realize how much workload there is going to be, and it's sometimes a little bit intimidating when you go into the course and then there are all those people and you hear what's expected from you. But those feelings creep in, and I think it's important to acknowledge them and to let them be there as well as part of this whole experience, and then move on from them and tell myself, well, yes, it's intimidating, but you're gonna do a great job. So that's my motto for this new semester and for my master thesis, because it's a very big thing and it's a little bit scary to start with it. I'm just trying to take out the pressure of this whole semester start and focus on the beautiful things in this time, like less the intimidating parts, and remind myself of how beautiful it is to walk to university again after such a long time. The air is a little bit cooler now, autumn is around the corner. Writing wasn't really a priority over the past few months, but I'm trying to get back into it, so I took out my typewriter to change things up a bit and to get excited again, because I'm trying to finish a few short stories. Some are for a reading in February, where I have absolutely no idea what I want to write about, so it's good to start early. And then there is another one, it's about two women falling in love in the 1920s, and it's a genre that I don't really gravitate towards. I don't really write romance stories, so let's see how that goes. This is my little Hermes baby, my travel typewriter that I got from my uncle and aunt for my 18th birthday, I think. And I absolutely love it. It's so cute. Didn't Hemingway also write on a Hermes baby? I'm not sure. And I mean, probably a lot of different famous writers used this type of typewriter. Anyways, it's very nice. It works really well, and it makes a beautiful sound. And this is the typewriter that I usually go for when I'm actually sitting down to type on a typewriter, because I also have an electronic one, but that just isn't fun, and it also has some technical issues and it doesn't work how it should. With my old one, it is just not working properly, and it is also quite exhausting to write with this one because it takes a lot of pressure to write, so after a while it can hurt a little bit. This is, let me just put the postcards away, a Mercedes typewriter from my grandpa. He got this from his office because he worked for the Austrian railway company and they had these typewriters and he got one. And it's just so special. I love it. It's extremely heavy. I cannot carry it myself. So every single time I had to move it, someone was helping me. My grandpa didn't want to give it away at first, but then he decided that it would be in good hands. I mean, more or less, because I think when I last moved, something got damaged and now can't make any capital letters. And I have to bring it to someone who repairs it. There is one shop in Vienna who does that. So I really hope they can fix it because it actually still works and it's just a lot of fun to write on it and it makes a beautiful sound. It is time to finish my tea and go outside because it's sunny and it's very beautiful and I need to enjoy the autumn air. This is how I want to end this video, and just a massive thanks for anyone who watches these little videos. Some are more informative, some are more cozy, I guess, and it's just very, very heartwarming for me to see that people are actually interested in what I share. And yeah, that's very, very lovely. I'm so grateful and happy, and just leave your comments. They're always appreciated, even if it takes me some time to answer, or maybe I don't have time to answer, but I always read them and it always makes me very happy. So enjoy your time and happy autumn, everyone. Goodbye.